Hi guys, I'm back with a haircut, and yes, I was sort of crying before filming this video. This is my third attempt of doing this intro because I can't stop my tears. But yeah, I got a haircut last week because I was going through some rough patches in my personal life, and cutting my hair feels actually really good since I feel like I've lost some weight that I think I was carrying around my head. And yeah. Okay, you guys. So this is a late update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. It was supposed to be updated like around last week of October, but since something's happened, I was not really in the mood to film. I actually base my filming based on my mood because sometimes when I'm not in the mood, I don't know what to say. Like I just speak gibberish, and it's not gonna be like a good quality video. So yeah, I just film whenever I am actually in a good mood and like my mind can actually focus in what I am trying to say. So yeah. Okay, so enough of that intro. So for today's video, I am so excited to share you guys that despite of me not wearing a makeup for almost a week because as I have said in my previous videos, my mom was hospitalized around the first or second week of October, and in that week I wasn't able to wear makeup because when you're stressed, you just don't really want to do makeup and going back and forth to the hospital. But no, she's okay, and yeah. So despite of that, I actually managed to hit pan on 4 eyeshadows. I don't know how I managed to do that, but like before I stopped wearing makeup on that week, I actually made some progress, and nowadays, so yeah, I've hit pan on 4 things, and I actually reached a goal on eyeshadow that I have not hit pan on, so I'm actually gonna roll out that one. So for the month of November, it's gonna be a new color story. So yeah. All right. So my rules for this project is to like number one, I should use all of the eyeshadows at least 10 times before I decide whether to continue using them or to just roll them out. Because this is supposed to be a fun project for me, not to be stressful, but and then per round, I am actually allowed to only roll out one eyeshadow. So if, for example, in a certain round, I'm not able to hit pan on 2 eyeshadows, I'm gonna pick on 2 of them. What will I be rolling out, and what will I be continue to work on? So yeah, as I have said, I have a hit pan on 4 eyeshadows, and I'm gonna roll out the last eyeshadow that I was able to hit pan on, so I can make a new color story for the month of November. Okay, so let's start with the eyeshadow that's been here the longest. So I think this eyeshadow has been in here since the month of August. Yeah, August or September. This is the Prune eyeshadow from the eyeshadow palette Beauty Glaze Color Flame. So you have seen a lot of this palette already, so I'm not gonna blabber on this, but here she is now. So on the first month that I rolled this one in, I've used this 12 times, and then last month I was able to use it 11 more times, in total of 23 uses. So after 23 uses, I finally managed to hit pan on this super pigmented, like a pinky purple eyeshadow. If you have noticed my past videos, I was wearing a pinky purple eyeshadow looks because of this eyeshadow and this palette in general. So yeah, I am so happy to be hitting pan on it finally, and moving on from this eyeshadow palette. I'm kind of sad that I will be already rolling this one out, but I also need to use some of the palettes that I haven't used on this year yet. So yeah. Okay, the next ones will be in no particular order because the rest of these eyeshadows I rolled them in last month. Okay, so the next I have in here is the one from the this eyeshadow palette. So this is the name. I don't intend to pronounce this because I know I'm just gonna butcher this one. So last one, I have rolled in this matte hot pink eyeshadow. As you can see, I've hit pan on this, so I've used this 11 times before I reached the pan. So mainly I've used this as some sort of a accent liner on this part of my eyes, on my upper like lash line, to be some sort of a accent eyeliner. And yeah, so yeah, I've managed to hit pan on this pretty soon. I was not expecting that, but yeah, because I am such a persistent kind of person, and I'm not bored with the same looks over and over again. I managed to hit pan on this one. So yeah, this palette, this has been on like project teams for like 3 rounds. So yeah, I just wanna this palette to take a break, so other palettes can take a spot in my project bin. So next eyeshadow is gonna be like a purpley peachy pinky kind of palette. So this is another palette from a brand that I cannot pronounce. It sounds really French, but this is actually a brand from C Beauty, but in Shopee they are no longer existing. So I think this brand is has been discontinued. I think, or maybe they are just not available on the Shopee platform anymore. I don't know, guys. So this is the Milky Way palette. This is an old palette. I got this way back in 2019 when I was starting to collect C Beauty palettes, and I still like this palette despite of this having this pressed chunky glitter with stars. I don't like eyeshadows like this, pressed glitters like this, because it's just annoying, and for me it makes the palette kind of like a kid's makeup. But yeah, I was working on this matte, like a lilac kind of color. I actually mainly use this as my transition shade. I always pair this with the hot pink eyeshadow that I previously shown you guys. So yeah, I've managed to hit pan on this after 12 uses. So the pans actually in this eyeshadow are just shallow. That's why I guess I hit pan on this so quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna miss this palette because I was reaching out for this eyeshadow often when I was working on this palette. But yeah, so happy to roll out this palette and work on a new palette. Okay, so the last eyeshadow I managed to hit pan on is from this You Can Be Magic Spell palette. Again, this is another C Beauty palette. If you have noticed, guys, I have a lot of C Beauty palettes, and most of these brands that I purchased are the ones that you probably haven't heard of yet, or more on the affordable, cheaper side, because yeah, the girl loves to try out a lot of things and maybe save some money, because I'm not really into purchasing more expensive stuff. Because I really do like eyeshadow, but I don't like to spend a lot of money on them unless it's gonna be a super good investment. But if it's just me playing with this or like collecting it, like no problem, as long as it's affordable. Okay, so this is her. This is the palette. This palette is highly inspired by the Lime Crime, the ones with the pinks and greens and like burgundy kind of color story. But this one they focused more on the blue. I mean, on the greens and the pinks, like a some sort of a romantic garden girly kind of vibe. And I was working on this eyeshadow. So this is a like a muted pink, glittery, shimmery kind of eyeshadow, and the pen is actually shallow, and the eyeshadow itself is more of like the squishy texture, squishy consistency. That's why I've hit pan on this after using this one for just 14 uses. So this eyeshadow, I mainly use this on my lids, and then I will top this eyeshadow with any of the shimmers in here, because the shimmers in here are really pretty, and I was not able to do like a dedicated video using this palette, but maybe before I roll this one out on my No Pan Left Behind, I will do a video because the main purpose of this channel is for me to showcase my eyeshadow palette collection and for me to do a dedicated video of each palette that I own. Because this channel is eyeshadow palette focused. The eyeshadow that I was not able to hit pan on, but I managed to surpass my goals. So I've used this eyeshadow 17 times. So this is her. This is the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette, and this is the color story. And I was working on this matte orangey brown shadow, so I used this 17 times, and I've formed some sort of a dip, but it's not too deep to form some sort of a like a dome. For me to try and hit pan this one. I decided to just roll this one out because I've already worked on this palette way back in February for my No Pan Left Behind, and I just want to give the spot for the remaining months of this year to palettes that I still have not worked on. So yeah, that's why it's rolling one out. So I'm gonna show you guys the screen record of me choosing my new color story. So they're all randomly generated because me, I am pretty much a fire sign, baby. I'm Leo with Moon in Sagittarius, so I love challenge. I love to challenge myself. That's why all of these are like randomly generated. But this time I actually manipulated some of this because, as I have said, I want to work on the palettes that I still have not used this year. So the shadows in the palette themselves are randomly generated, but I removed anything that I have worked on this year. You know what I mean? Okay, so guys, I'm gonna be back to show you the new color story. Okay, you guys, so I have a new color story in here with me and the randomly generated shades from the not so randomly generated palettes. Okay, you guys, so I actually just watched the new color story and they are pretty much a boring neutrals, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm not gonna change anymore because this is gonna be the last round of Pan Those Eyeshadows this year. So yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna work on these palettes and maybe I'm gonna do something about the palettes that I have not yet used for this year. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the first one I have in here is this Quad Celestial Eyes Milky Way palette. This is a local brand. Local means it's a Filipino brand because I'm a Filipino. I live in the Philippines. This is the newest palette I have in my collection. I just got this like 2 weeks ago because Shopee loves to do a lot of this live show sales, and so I only got this palette for 50 pesos, and it was whatever. I want to try more local stuff. That's why I bought this one, and I randomly generated this number 7 shadow. So how I go about that is like 1 to 5, 6 to 10. So this is number 7. This is a matte, kind of a warm shadow. I think I will be able to hit pan on this. Considering how tiny the pans are. I don't know, like maybe in a month I will be hitting pan on this one. The next one I have in here is from a palette that was given to me by a previous coworker. So she got me this palette. She was like, my relatives give me a lot of makeup, but I don't really use a lot of makeup. So, and she was like, I know you do love makeup, so I'm just gonna give you this palette. So this is the Pupar palette. I researched about this brand and I found out that this is like an Italian brand, some kind of a drugstore brand, and you can no longer get this palette. But I've actually sanitized this one a few times before I will be using this one. So yeah, I randomly generated the first shade in here, which on the first glance, you would think it's a matte white, but it's actually a shimmery white eyeshadow, which will be perfect for my inner corner. So I guess I have no problem hitting pan on that before the finale. And then the third one I have in here is Sweet Mint Quad. I've searched on this from Shopee, but I can't find it anywhere. But maybe in Lazada or AliExpress, this is still floating around. So this is their tiny quad, and I've randomly generated this second shadow. It's a pinky, muted pinky matte kind of a color that will be perfect on my transition. And then the next one that I randomly generated is the third shadow from this ZZ Almond Milky palette. This palette is really warm and light tone, and I've randomly generated this matte yellow shadow. Not sure what to do with that. Maybe as a transition shadow and pair that with the mattes in here. And the last eyeshadow I randomly generated is from this Leen, whatever, Be Yourself palette. If you have watched my makeup haul in the month of May, this palette was in there. It's just a random purchase from Lazada where I saw that this was on sale for like 60 pesos because of the voucher, and I was like, yeah, why not try another cheap C beauty brand, and I just want to know if the quality is still the same compared to their middle range and their high end range. And yeah, I mean, like the shimmers in here are pretty lackluster, and I don't like this fluorescent glitter. But the shadow that I randomly generated is the number 3, which is another shimmery kind of like a beige white eyeshadow, which normally I would I would pick another one because I don't want doubles in a single round. But since again, this is the last round and I have not worked on any of these eyeshadow palettes, I was just like, whatever. I'm just gonna stick with it and hoping to hit most of these by the end of the year. So this is a new color story. As you can see, it's very neutral with double shades, but whatever, I'm just gonna work on this. Alright, you guys, this is the update for the month of October, and I have just shown you the color story for the month of November. I think I will do my finale maybe around the second week of December, and then after that, I'm just gonna take a few weeks of break from project panning because I want to enjoy the eyeshadow palettes that I have not used yet, and then by the first week of January, I will be back with a refresh of Pan Those Eyeshadows because I love doing this eyeshadow project. This is my favorite. I mean eyeshadow project pan, and I will never stop doing this one because I like it so much. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a nice day. I hope you stay safe and have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.